Welcome back to More Math. I'm so glad to see you again. As you recall, last time we were together, we were talking about rates and ratios. Today, we're going to take rates and we're going to talk about it in using tables and graphs. So please grab your piece of paper, roll up your sleeves, and here we go. You got a pencil, right? It's so much more fun if you do the math with me. All right, so I live in Missouri, but I grew up and spent a lot of my time in Colorado, so I drive back and forth a lot. So one time I kind of kept track of my time and my distance, and these are some numbers that I came up with. I might have made it up a little bit, but it's pretty accurate. What I want to know is how fast did I drive? We're going to assume that I went at a steady pace. So do you remember what a rate is? Good. A rate compares two quantities with different labels. So I've got hours here and miles there. My units are different, so I can compare them. So that's a rate. It's not a ratio because they're different units, right? One's hours and one's miles. They're not the same. Well, how do we talk about how fast we go? We talk about miles per hour, right? So matter of fact, you might have seen miles per hour before. So if we're talking about miles per hour, let's look at our table and see if it can help us out. I think it can. Let's see, miles, distance in miles. How many miles did I go? Good, I went 130 miles. When I look up here at the time, how many hours did it take me to go? It took me 2 hours. In other words, I went 130 miles in 2 hours. That is a rate. I'm comparing two quantities. I don't love that rate though. I really want to make this a unit rate. Do you remember what a unit rate is? A unit rate, that all looks like one word, but it's two. Unit rate. Okay, you got it. It means there's a 1 on the bottom, right? How do we do that? We use our very fancy top divided by the bottom. So what is 130 divided by 2? You're so good. It is 65. I can say that I drove 65 miles in 1 hour. In other words, we often write that as 65 miles per hour. All right, so our unit rate is 65. I went 65 miles per hour. That's super helpful. So let's think about this now. I'm missing a few things here. I didn't keep track really well, but I'd like to fill my table in so I can kind of know what I did when, right? Well, how can I use this rate that I have here? How did I get from 2 to 130? What did I do? I multiplied by 65. Good job. I multiplied by 65. That makes sense. I'm going from a smaller number to a bigger number. It's my time times my miles per hour. Okay, so if I multiplied 2 times 65 to get 130, can you figure out what goes in this spot here? After 5.5 hours, how many miles did I drive? Pause the video, grab that calculator, and figure that out for me real quick. Yes. Now, how did we do it? We said, well, I'm going to multiply again by what? I'm multiplying by 65. And what is 5.5 times 65? My little cheat sheet tells me. We got 357 miles. 0.5. 357.5. Is that what you got? Nice job. I love it. Uh-oh, that's a little different. I'm not going down anymore. I'm going up. Going from a bigger number to a smaller number. What do you think we need to do now? Am I going to multiply? No. We're going the opposite direction. I need to fill in this opposite part on my graph here, on my table. So what is the opposite of multiplication? You got it. It's division. We are going to divide this time by 65 because we're doing the opposite and we're going to go the other way. What is 682.5 divided by 65? You paused. You did it in your calculator. You're amazing. I thought so. You got it. It is 10.5. As a matter of fact, 10.5 hours is about how long it takes to get from where I am now to where I used to live. It's a bit of a jaunt, but I like it. It's not a bad drive. So what did we do? We had a table. We had a rate, 2 hours to go 130 miles. We turned it into a ratio. What was our ratio? The ratio is just like 2 to 130, right? Which is equal to 5.5 to 357.5, which is equal to 10.5 over 682.5. These are all equal rates. They're all the same. They're all equal. They would all reduce to become the same thing. They all reduce to 1 over 65. They would all reduce down here. Now we have it going the other way because we wanted to know miles per hour. We can totally do that. Rates, doesn't matter what's on the top and what's on the bottom. We can set it up any way we need it to make the math we need. I love math. It's so easy to just change it around. All right, so we found the rate. We used that rate to multiply, and we found the unit rate because that just makes it easier when there's a 1 on the bottom. It let us fill it all in. You guys did a great job. Congratulations. So rates are pretty cool. Let's try using them for a shower. My shower at home uses 12 gallons of water for 3 minutes. It's not true. I didn't check it. It just seemed like good numbers, not going to lie. All right, so 12 gallons of water every 3 minutes. So we're going to set up our table. We have the time on top, the minutes, the gallons on the bottom, gallons of water on the bottom. Why is time on top? Because I'm always going to write it in XY. X is the independent variable, Y is the dependent variable. We're going to talk about that more later, but I have to put the time on top. I can't switch it to make it look more like the ratio. It's okay. All right, so I want to know how many gallons per minute I'm using. I'm going to set up a rate for gallons per minute. So what goes on top? Well, we said it, right? How many gallons per minute am I using? I'm going to put the gallons on top. I don't have a lot of room to write. I'm going to write right here. I'm going to put the gallons on top, so the gallons per minute and the minutes on the bottom. So how much did I use? I have 8 gallons in 2 minutes. Well, that's a nice thing, but it's not a helpful rate yet. We really want the unit rate, and again, the unit rate means the ones on the bottom, right? Right, so we're going to divide. Top divided by the bottom. What is 8 divided by 2? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. It is 4 gallons per minute. So my shower is using 4 gallons a minute. Okay, well that makes sense because 3 times 4 is 12. Good job. On your piece of paper, can you tell me how many gallons of water I use if I take a shower for 4.5 minutes? Pause the video. Did you get 18? Nice job. Well, what if I'm taking a shower and my shower lasts 24 minutes? How many gallons of water did I use? So you remembered that when we are going this way, we multiply. We're multiplying. And when we go this way, we're dividing. We're doing the opposite. Good. We're going from a bigger number to a smaller number. So what is 24 divided by 4? It is 6. Nice job. So I took a shower for 6 minutes if I use 24 gallons of water. Take short showers. Save water. All right, so this table is neat, and I guess I can kind of figure things out. But look what I can do with it. I can make this graph down here. I already set it up. And you'll notice here on the bottom I have time because time's the independent variable. Again, we'll talk about that later. And I have it labeled with my units. Always put your units on your graph. Life pro tip there. And on the side I have water in gallons. Okay, let's see if we can plot this. Do you remember how to plot it? So we've got the time is 2, gallons is 8. So I'm going to go time to 2, gallons to 8. Well, that's a little bit less than 10. So is gallons 10 there? I'm going to come down. It's going to be about right there, I think. Time is 3, Gallons are 12. 1, 2, 3. So it's a little bit more than 10 this time, right? Just a little bit. 4 and a half and 18. So not quite 5. 4 and a half. Almost to 20. About right there. Can't complain. From my angle, it looks like I'm doing okay. Although it looks a little high when I come down and look at it. And then the last one here I've got is 6 to 24. That's probably about right here-ish. Oh, maybe over there a little bit more. All right, so you notice we're making a pretty straight line here. As a matter of fact, if I were to connect those and make a line, look what happens. It makes a really nice straight line, and it goes through 0, 0. That means this is a proportion, which is a video that's coming up real soon. So we took our table, and we were able to graph them. Now we can say, how many gallons will I use if I take a shower for 10 minutes? Let's try it. I can go doot, 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 up to my graph. And now I'm going to go over how many gallons did I use? 40 gallons. And that makes sense, right? So if I go for 10 minutes, 10 times 4 is 40. So I knew that from my table math. But I come up here and I come over, I used 40 gallons. These graphs are kind of helpful. They give us a lot of information. I like it. Thank you so much for taking the time to look at rates, tables, and graphs with me today. I just want to do a quick review. Ratios and rates, are they always the same? Well, a ratio is not always a rate. Why? Because sometimes a ratio is comparing two quantities that are the same. Boys and girls, they're all people, right? So this is a ratio, it is not a rate. The rate compares two quantities with different units. For example, we went 65 miles per hour. Miles and hours, totally different units. You notice what I put there. There's a 1 on the bottom. If you don't write anything, it means there's a 1. Then that's a unit rate, and we love unit rates. They're very helpful. You guys did a great job. Thanks for joining me for more math.